you can check. And then I also like that it has the maze to kind of help you through the right answers. But I am going to talk you through the problems because I expect you to not only write the solutions, but you also have to show the work. So for the first one, you have negative x plus y equals 1, and you have 2x plus y equals 4. So what you have to do here is you have to isolate one of the variables so that you can substitute it into the other equation. So I'm going to add x to both sides here, and what that's going to give me is y equals x plus 1. Now this value of y, x plus 1, I'm going to substitute in for this value of y in the other equation. So when I do that, 2x, and then instead of y, I'm going to put plus x plus 1 equals 4. So this x plus 1 was the value of y from the other equation. Now I'm going to, what that does is that eliminates the y variable, so I can solve for the x variable. So if I add the two x terms here, I'm going to have 3x's plus 1 equals 4. So now I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, and I have 3x equals 3. Divide both sides by 3, and I have x equals 1. So now that I know what the value of x is, I'm going to plug it back into, I could plug it back into either equation. So I'm going to plug it back into the original equation on the left here. Negative 1 plus y equals 1. Add 1 to both sides to isolate the y, and y equals 2. So now the solution for number 1 is 1, 2, which means that if I graphed both of these lines, they would cross at 1, 2. And so that's what we had. For the next one, we have x plus y equals 2. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to erase the last one. X plus y equals 2, and negative 4x plus 2y equals negative 2. So the easiest one to isolate, I'm just going to isolate the y, so I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So if y equals negative x plus 2, I'm going to take this value and plug it in here, but now I'm going to have to use the distributive property. So instead of 2y, I'm going to take 2 times negative x plus 2 equals negative 2. So I have to distribute the 2 to each term inside the parentheses. So negative 4x, and then 2 times the negative x is negative 2x, and 2 times 2 is 4, equals negative 2. I'm going to combine my x terms, so that gives me negative 6x plus 4 equals negative 2. Subtract 4 from both sides to isolate the variable term. And I have negative 6x equals negative 6. Divide both sides by negative 6, and I have x equals positive 1. So once I know that x equals 1, I'm going to plug it back into this original equation, and I have 1 plus y equals 2. So now subtract 1 from both sides, and y equals 1. So your solution for number 2 is 1, 1. Okay, which is what you have here. So your next one, you have negative 2x plus y equals 0. And you have 3x minus 4y equals 10. So the easiest one I'm going to isolate is y. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. Y equals 2x. So I'm going to take the value of y, which is 2x, and plug it in here. So I have 3x minus 4, and instead of y, I'm going to write 2x equals 10. I'm going to distribute the negative 4 to the negative 2, so I have minus 8x equals 10. Combine my x terms, I have opposite signs, so 3x minus 8x, that's going to give me negative 5x equals 10. Divide both sides by a negative 5, x equals negative 2. I take the value of negative 2 and plug it into the original equation, so I have negative 2 times negative 2 plus y equals 0. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, actually, plus y equals 0. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides to get y equals negative 4. So the solution is negative 2, negative 4. For the next one, and you can see that's negative 2, negative 4 for number 3. For the next one, we have negative 4x plus 3. Hold on, let's go erase here. We have, for number 4, negative 4x plus 3y equals 1, and positive 3x plus y equals 9. The easiest one to isolate is the one without the coefficient. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So I have y equals negative 3x plus 9. I'm going to take the value here and plug it in here for y. So I have negative 4x plus 3 times a negative 3x plus 9 equals 1. I'm going to distribute the 3 to both terms. So I have negative 4x minus 9x plus 27 equals 1. So I'm going to combine my x terms. So I have negative 13x plus 27 equals 1. I'm going to subtract 27 from both sides to isolate the variable. I have negative 13x equals negative 26. Divide both sides by a negative 13, and x equals positive 2. Now that I know x equals 2, I can plug it back into either one of these equations. I'll plug it into this one, and I have 3 times 2 plus y equals 9. That's 6 plus y equals 9. Subtract 6 from both sides, and y equals 3. So my solution for number 4 is 2, 3.